Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to IED today for our lesson on concept sketching. Today we're going to talk about sketching. Sketching is a task that some of us really love and some of us really love to hate. In this activity, we're going to talk about the value of sketching as a communication tool. We're not going to focus much on your artistic abilities. While it would be better to be an awesome artist, the reality is we all just need to be good enough to get a point across. And in this lesson, hopefully, we will improve our skills and our understandings of what makes a good sketch so that we can get our ideas across. Concept sketches are merely representations of an object. We all have great ideas. You have great ideas. I have great ideas, and they're in your head. And the idea of the concept sketch will let us get these ideas out of the back of our head and onto paper where we can show them off to the world, or at least a friend. Here's a historical example of a concept sketch. This one rather clearly describes the accessible snowboard. Uh, as you look at this, you can see the person sitting in this device. You'll note that the person is not a spectacular representation of a truly artistic person. It's just a circle diagram showing, hey, wait, that's a person. And that gets the point across because we're not designing people here. We're designing objects. So here you can see this person's design for this object. As we draw and sketch, we're going to find that many details aren't obvious. When I look at this object here, I'm pretty confident that that's a sewing machine. It seems to look like a sewing machine. It seems that it's got a thread thing there. Um, but if we really want to understand what the person who created this sketch is trying to tell us, we need to read the annotations. So the idea for you is that as you create your drawings, your sketches, your ideas, the better we can incorporate annotations, the better our drawing will be. So those notes to the reader make this drawing make tremendous amount more sense. Additional examples of historical concept sketches. Here we have a couple of examples of engineering notebook drawings from somebody's designs for a set of goose decoys. And we've got two different designs for goose decoys shown here. Well, these two different sets of designs for goose decoys. You note that they're not very technical in their sketching. They're clear, but they're not measured drawings. They're just hand sketches with notes and labels to help you understand the concept. Now we're going to go ahead and I'd like you to pause the video and in your notebook, try to sketch just the outline of this tape dispenser. Once you've created your outline of your tapes dispenser, we're going to do some shading. A few notes on shading. We're going to apply shading to try to make our drawing look a little more realistic. Uh, Darkness represents dark colors or low light areas or things that are far from us, and lightness represents bright colors, things that are areas that are well lit, things that are close to us. We can use our regular number 2 pencils. You'll see that's in the middle of the hardness range of pencils. If you had artist or drafter pencils, you could get them that were very soft, which would put very dark lines on the paper, very dark shading, or very hard, which would help you produce very light lines. for us in class, our standard number 2 pencils will do just fine. Just don't push so hard when you want to create lines and construction lines, and when you want to shade very lightly, and go over the same space a few times and push a little harder when you want to create dark areas. When it comes to shading, dark values, obviously, we talk about, obviously represent the dark colors in your drawing, but they also represent areas that are shaded or blocked from the light or things that are far from you. You can practice and get all these varying degrees and more shades with just your standard school pencil. When it comes to choosing how to shade something, we're going to apply what's called tonal shading. And what we do here is we identify areas close to the light source and things away from the light source. So here, looking at this example of the cube, we've got a light source represented by our very realistic sun here, which is closest to the top of the cube, therefore gets the least amount of shading and is the lightest. And of course, if the sun is above the cube, this section here would get the most shading and the darkest, and then spaces in between, like this right side, would get the mediumest. Is that a word? Mediumest? Mediumest? Sure. No, it's not really a word, but you get the idea. You get the lightest where it's closest to the sun, darkest where it's furthest away, and then use in between shading to get in those medium areas to help you get what you're looking for. So now that you've had an opportunity to talk a little bit about and understand a little bit about shading, go back to your tape dispenser sketch, pause your video, and add some shading. Here we have an example of a paper clip that's been drawn and shaded, and you can see where's the light source in this situation. Is the light source down here where my mouse is? Is the light source over here where my mouse is? Is the light source up here? Well, if you said that the light source is above the object, I would say you're right. You can see that the lightest section of our paper clip is on top. The darkest section is going to be the shaded section that would be in the shadow of the upper portion. And we have shadowed sections here as well. And of course, we've got shadowed sections where the holes go through the clothespin, and then medium sections where it's away from the shading but not blocked by anything. And there's an example there. So here's an example of the finished tape dispenser. And compare that to what you have and show me when you're done.